streets. Of course, when she had left her house, she'd had slippers on, but what good had they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, ASMR Sleep, Z. My name is Mel. And guess what I have? Okay, I don't know why I didn't buy this at first because it actually has the other Christmas story I've already read, but look at how cute it is. Yeah, it's adorable. It's a tad expensive, but it's adorable. And it's just nice. Look at the inside. I love it. In case you couldn't tell already, we are doing another ASMR reading. Now, the last video that I put up was a playlist of lo-fi Christmas music. If you haven't checked that out yet, definitely do that, but don't do it when you need whispered content because really, you can't put your headphones in. I mean, you could, but really low volume. Even at 50% volume, that track was hard on my ears. So just be mindful of that. But it's great for if you need to clean or if you're cooking and you want to listen to something. Basically anything where you both want to relax and be a little bit energized. Alright, so today we are reading from this beautiful book. It's a Canterbury Classics edition. Yes, leather-bound. Beauty. I don't know why they chose blue for it, but they did. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look at it. I think today's video and the next video. So today's video is going to come out on Saturday. So let's call it today's video, Saturday's video. And Monday's video should be a short one as well. So today's video, I really want to do The Little Match Girl. I feel like when I was a child, I probably did read it, but I forget. I know the premise, and it's very short. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then what was the other one that I was going to do? Yes, the other one I was going to do is The Three Kings, which is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and I've never read that one, as far as I know. And then I'm going to have to choose which one to do next. I'm not sure which one I'm kind of leaning towards. Okay, because here's the crazy thing. I didn't know. I guess I should have done more research, but I didn't know that the writer of The Wizard of Oz actually has 2 Santa stories. What? We're finding this out together, so I should have bought this book from the beginning. So is the life and adventures of Santa Claus. That's what I read last time. A kidnapped Santa Claus. Maybe that's the one I'll do after. But yeah, I do kind of want to do it. I'm so tired today. I don't think I can sit for long. I kind of want to do 2 videos at once because I'm going to have a rather busy weekend because my birthday is actually on Monday. So, that's what we're going to do. And then the following weekend is my dad's birthday, and he's turning 70. So, yeah, I might be pressed for time. I have a feeling. But anyway, we're just gonna get through some stuff today and then see how it goes. Alright, so what did I say? The Little Match Girl. Yes. So let's go to page 53, shall we? Now, Hans Christian Andersen, he is like a big fairy tale writer, I thought. I don't know if I've read much of his stuff, but from what I understand, he is under that genre as well, so probably one day we'll get to him since I was going through the Brothers Grimm. But we're not even done halfway the Brothers Grimm, so it may take a while. Alright, let's get started, shall we? Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you like ASMR reading content. Okay, The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. It was so terribly cold. Snow was falling, and it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the streets. Of course, when she had left her house, she'd had slippers on, but what good had they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother. The little girl had lost them running across the road, where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. One slipper she'd not been able to find again, and a boy had run off with the other, saying he could use it very well as a cradle some day, when he had children of his own. And so the little girl walked on her naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron, she carried several packages of matches. She held a box of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, and no one had given her a cent. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along, a picture of misery. Poor little girl. The snowflakes fell on her long fair hair, which hung in pretty curls over her neck. In all the windows, lights were shining, and there was a wonderful smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she thought of that. In a corner formed by two houses, one of which projected farther out into the street than the other, she sat down and drew up her little feet under her. She was getting colder and colder, but did not dare to go home, for she had sold no matches, nor earned a single cent, and her father would surely beat her. Besides, it was cold at home, for they had nothing over them but a roof, through which the wind whistled even though the biggest cracks had been stuffed with straw and rags. Her hands were almost dead with cold. Oh, how much one little match might warm her. If she could only take one from the box and rub it against the wall and warm her hands. She drew one out. Ratch! How it sputtered and burned. It made a warm, bright flame like a little candle as she held her hands over it. But it gave a strange light. It really seemed to the little girl as if she were sitting before a great iron stove with shining brass knobs and a brass cover. How wonderfully the fire burned! How comfortable it was! The youngster stretched out her feet to warm them too. Then the little flame went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt match in her hand. She struck another match against the wall. It burned brightly, and when the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent, like a thin veil, and she could see through it into a room. On the table a snow-white cloth was spread, and on it stood a shining dinner service. The roast goose steamed gloriously, stuffed with apples and prunes. And what was still better, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled along the floor with a knife and fork in its breast, right over to the little girl. Then the match went out, and she could see only the thick, cold wall. She lighted another match. Then she was sitting under the most beautiful Christmas tree. It was much larger and much more beautiful than the one she had seen last Christmas through the glass door at the rich merchant's home. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches, and colored pictures like those in the print shops looked down at her. The little girl reached both her hands toward them. Then the match went out. Christmas lights mounted higher. She saw them now as bright as stars in the sky. One of them fell down, forming a long line of fire. Now someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only person who had loved her and who was now dead, had told her that when a star fell down, a soul went up to God. She rubbed another match against the wall. It became bright again, and in the glow, the old grandmother stood clear and shining, kind and lovely. "Grandmother," cried the child, "oh, take me with you. I know you will disappear when the match is burned out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the wonderful roast goose, and the beautiful big Christmas tree." And she quickly struck the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. And the matches burned with such a glow that it became brighter than daylight. Grandmother had never been so grand and beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and both of them flew in brightness and joy above earth, very, very high. And up there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor fear. They were with God. But in the corner, leaning against the wall, sat the little girl with red cheeks and smiling mouth, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. The New Year's sun rose upon a little pathetic figure. The child sat there stiff and cold, holding the matches, of which one bundle was almost burned. She wanted to warm herself, the people said. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, and how happily she had gone with her old grandmother into the bright new year. It's actually quite a sad story, isn't it? If you think about today, how we don't allow children to be used for work. And when we do, there are very strict rules around it. Like for child actors. I don't even know what the rules are, I just know that they're pretty strict. Which is good. For most of our existence as a species, children were not protected in such ways, so when you think about that, I think it only came out until probably the 1800s, because when industrialization happened, children were actually working in factories. Well, at least the poor ones were. The only way that they weren't working was if their family had money. But in the end, when she gets to see her grandma, I like that. I like that a lot. Makes me think of my own Nana. But she passed away 6.5 years ago now. I miss her. One day, we'll see each other again. But that's the little match girl. Sorry to depress you. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure these, well, actually, I don't really know if they're all kind of depressing. Well, I know that one's pretty heart-wrenching. It's a picture of a very dark time for children. Well, let's hope that the next one, which you will be listening to on Monday, The Three Kings by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Let's hope it's a little bit more uplifting, shall we? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.